level 1.3, holding the guitar classical style. Now, I have no personal preference as to whether you hold the guitar classical, right-legged, or with a strap. I personally get tired sometimes sitting in the same position, and it just kind of helps my back to move around into different positions. But there are distinct advantages and disadvantages to each style, and so I'd like to highlight some of the advantages of holding the guitar classical style. For one, the guitar is positioned in the center of the body, and that gives me access with both hands to every single note on the guitar. For my left hand, I can really lean into this bulky instrument and get the high notes. We don't have a cutaway like we do on our electric guitars, and some acoustics also come with cutaways. But this old traditional instrument is very difficult to get into the high notes. So sitting classical allows access with the left hand. And then with the right hand, I have access to these artificial harmonics. Just like that. And so if I'm holding it the other way, I can't reach with my right hand as easily. So that's one advantage. Another advantage is, well, clearly the steep neck angle. It's almost like holding a cello, and that facilitates the anatomy of the left hand or the fretting hand. If I do a bicep curl, it's just the way the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist is designed. When we do a bicep curl, look at the angle of my knuckles. And so it only makes sense that you would want the neck to run in the same direction as the knuckles. We want our knuckles parallel to the fretboard, and that allows us access to all the notes within our hand grip. If I'm making a chord like a B minor, for instance, I'm in perfect alignment. But if I turn the neck this way, it puts me out of alignment. So really what's happening is we're providing a very steep angle which fits very nicely with the contour of our hand. Now that I've convinced you this is a good thing, we can go over the mechanics. And that starts with a good seating position. And so you want a chair without arms or a stool, something that allows you to move your elbows freely. And you're going to sit at the end of that chair or stool in such a way that your guitar can fall between your legs and not hit the chair. You want an open stance because you need room for the guitar to fall between your legs. My knee is higher than my hip, and I achieve this with a footstool. And this one's adjustable. Now you don't need a footstool, but just something that allows you to elevate your knee higher than your hip. And so with an open stance and your knee elevated, if you put this part of the guitar on the leg about where the thigh meets the hip in the center of the body, the guitar should pretty much balance itself out. Now I know some of you might be tempted to fold the guitar out like this so that you can see the notes. Understandable, but there's a consequence. Look what it's doing to my wrist. It's causing me to have to bend it. And so a bent wrist is a weak hand. A straight wrist is a strong hand. And the reason for that is the way the tendons move from the forearm into the wrist and into the hand. As long as this part here is straight, you're going to have a strong hand because the tendons can move freely in a straight line. But the moment you bend your wrist, those tendons are now having to move across the curvature of the hand. And that makes it harder to move. And so that's why you want your guitar up against your body with the strings facing your audience. One, so that they can hear you, and then two, so that you can maintain that straight wrist. And finally, I want to discuss the picking hand alignment as it pertains to classical style. Now, providing you're holding the guitar properly, this should take care of itself. It should be a very natural thing to fall into. We're going to split a diagonal line from the corner of the guitar all the way down through the center of the sound hole with your forearm and wrist, just like this. And so this part right here is the forearm. We want that over the lip of the guitar, not the bicep, but the forearm over the lip of the guitar in such a way that you are providing a straight line from here all the way down to here. And that's about how it looks. If you're holding the pick, or if you're using fingerstyle, it shouldn't matter. It's going to be about the same angle. And we can change strings by moving up and down like this. Now we'll cover more about picking in a future level, but this is the foundation of that. You don't want this, and you don't want this. Those are too extreme. If you're holding the guitar properly and your back is straight and your forearm's over the edge, you should fall into this naturally. And that pretty much covers it. You may find as you move your way through the levels for guitar program that certain exercises are difficult, especially exercises where you're having to make big stretches like this. like in that blues shuffle, students of mine who have had trouble doing that, I've had them convert over to classical style, and then they were able to perform it because of the neck angle. So this is just one tool in your tool shed of seating positions. Experiment with different ones and see which one works best for you.